This show brought to you by Ricmotech. Are you considering a Thrustmaster product? If so, you should consider Ricmotech. They are an authorized Thrustmaster dealer. They take support to the next level and offer optional firmware updates, product testing, and support, all free of charge, and will ship worldwide. Check them out at ricmotech.com. John and Darren's office chairs provided by GT Omega Racing. You can check them out at gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, May 11th, 2016 edition. I'm John Sable, and like last week, it is just me at the beginning, but unlike last week, it's just going to be me this week, a solo show. Darren had some dentistry work done yesterday, and he used the word surgery in it, so that doesn't sound fun, but I guess he's on the mend right now, a little bit of swelling, so he can't be on the show today, but I believe he should be on chat during the show, because he can at least still type. So, yeah, just going to be me today. And do want to note that hopefully in the future, when something happens, like when I can't be on the show or Darren can't be on the show, we'll go and we'll bring Mark Puck in and Billy Strange and have them fill in, or just have them on some other times on the show for further discussion and maybe just to chat it up. So, yeah, seems like everything's working. Sorry, I just had to check for a second. Yeah, it is. Yes, Chad. It is my fault. Darren's not on the show. But so yeah, no. I think we got a really good show though today. There's a lot of good news items over the past week to cover. This includes Assetto Corsa console delay. Well, that's not good, but it's news. Project Cars Game of the Year was announced. Forza Motorsport 6 Apex released. Nvidia announced the GTX 1080 and 1070 cards, and I know a lot of you guys want to talk about that, so we're going to. iRacing, Imola Sneak Peak. VLN Series for iRacing was announced, so we'll chat about that. RaceRoom, Tatuus Formula 4 preview, and rFactor 2 development blog, which sounds actually pretty awesome, so we'll show you guys that. And then we'll talk about the happenings. As you can see, the studio is progressing here. Have studio lights, so we'll share a couple pictures of with you guys. Easy for me to say. And yeah, so great show. As always, would appreciate a thumbs up. That helps us. There I am. Got to make sure I'm on camera. That helps us out. And also, before we start, I want to give a couple of shout outs this week. Shout out to RJ Bansma, who I guess it's his birthday today. So happy birthday, RJ. And also want to give a shout out to Jerry and Mike of the Crankenstein Racing League. Mentioned them here in the past, but they're here in Cincinnati, and both of them emailed me offering any help I needed to help get set up. I didn't take them up on the offer because like my week has been insane, and I'm doing this at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and I don't think anyone should be over here helping me at that time of night. So, but no, I appreciate the help, and maybe I'll take them up on the offer in the future. So I just wanted to give that shout out to those guys. But so yeah, let's get rolling on the show, which feels so weird with me just here by myself in the room. But it looks like nothing's broke, so that's good. So first up, Assetto Corsa has been delayed again on the console. It was supposed to be released the beginning of next month, but has now been pushed back to August 26th in Europe and 30th in North America. So, yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. I mean, and I guess it kind of depends on where you stand, if you're interested in buying it on the console, or if you just kind of understand how, delays go. Which, segue, gets us to our poll question this week. So in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, over there I believe, there should be a little eye icon you can click on and do the poll. And this week's poll question is, do software delays bother you? And kind of came up with this question yesterday thinking it's like, software in general these days just always seems to be delayed. And, is it something where, does it still... I think I have yes, no, and meh. I think yes is you expect it to be released when they say it should be released. No is this happens, and meh is just kind of like it's software. or I actually know I'd rather have it done right than released wrong. So I'm kind of curious about that because, like I said, there's a lot of delays these days, not only just in sim racing, but any kind of game title out there or piece of software or this or that. I mean, it just seems to happen. So curious to see what your guys' thoughts on that, and if it delays or if it gets delayed, if you eventually just lose interest and go spend your money somewhere else. So let's see. Opening up Darren's Skype in front of everyone. So Project Cars came out with the Game of the Year edition, and here's the trailer that came out last week. And what makes this unique is essentially Project Cars were released a year ago now, which I can't believe. So if you haven't picked the Project Cars yet, the Game of the Year edition kind of gets you caught up to date where the title has been. Oh, my mic is a little hot. Let me turn that down a little bit. So it gets us to where we're kind of at, where you get the 50 additional cars you've gotten since the release of the title a year ago. So you see like the McLaren there and all that kind of, not the McLaren, the Mercedes AMG there. You get 4 new tracks, 35 unique locations total, 60 plus community created liveries, which is that's kind of cool that they tossed in liveries, and then 500 plus features and improvements that have been added since launch, which I chuckled at that a little bit because I'm sure it's probably the 500 line items that have been in release notes, and we know a fair amount of them have been mostly improvements, not necessarily new features. And then also with the title, you get the Game of the Year edition, you get the Nürburgring combined circuit, the Nordschleife and GP, and then 2 new cars from Pagani, the Zonda Revolution and Hera BC, both new cars. And if you already have Project Cars and you want to get those new Paganis and the combined Nordschleife, they have a DLC expansion available for €399, which I don't have the US conversion because now Mark's writing the blogs and he's writing in euros, and made me think about the other day, or when I was reading it this morning, I was kind of like, oh, that's probably what we deserve, because a lot of times the blogs would just put it in US dollars and then force you guys to do the conversion. So whoops. So let's see, Mike is now okay. That's good. I appreciate that. I had it up a little high, so I turned the game down. But so yeah, that's Project Cars Game of the Year edition. If you haven't purchased it yet, that's a good way to go and get it and get all that content that's come out since. I mean, I can't believe it's already been a year. It feels like it came out yesterday. So next up on the topics, Forza Motorsport 6 Apex was released this past week, and gonna scroll up the video here that Billy did a first look. And if you haven't seen this first look, you should definitely check it out. I mean, Billy did a really outstanding job on it. He really hit a lot of good things. As we mentioned in last week's live show, there's no wheel support yet for Apex. And again, if you're not sure what it is, Apex, it's kind of like a Forza Motorsport 6 teaser, only available on Windows 10 for free from the Microsoft Store. So it was released, and yeah, kind of hearing some mixed things from Billy on that video, talking about it sounds like there's no ultra wide screen support. You can't change the field of view. Didn't really chat too much about driving, since obviously it was just controller only. And I mean, besides the point that it is a pretty good title on the controller, but you know, we're all wheel and pedal guys. So yeah, so that was released. And I'm trying to think what some of the other complaints were, but a lot of things kind of fall. Oh, the volume of the cars. So a lot of those things kind of fall in line of things we talked about in our review of Forza Motorsport 6 when it came out on Xbox One. It kind of sounds like a lot of things are similar. But Turn 10 continues to promise that there will be updates, and there'll be more updates to the Universal Windows platform that it's on. And actually, one of those updates, not necessarily to the Forza, but to the platform, was announced today. It was announced that support for FreeSync and G-Sync, AMD FreeSync, Nvidia G-Sync, is coming to the Universal Windows platform as of today, and they're also unlocking the frame rates. So that's good to see. Now, that won't be implemented in the Forza today, but it sounds like that's coming in the next update. So hopefully that's not too far out. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. And more importantly, it is cool that we're hearing updates to that Universal Windows platform. I'm glad to start seeing those updates, but it's going to be, okay, what about wheel? When are we be able to get away from just having the Xbox controller? So hopefully that update to that Windows platform is coming soon. I gotta get used to saying Universal Windows Platform, UWP. Does not roll off the tongue. So, next up, I have a couple iRacing news items. And the first one is this very quick sneak peek of iRacing's version of Imola. And it's coming to iRacing in the Season 3 build in June. And as you can see, it looks great. And I love the Formula 1 car sound going on there. Looking forward to this track. I have to say, of the two Italian F1 historic tracks, Monza, Imola, not a big fan of Monza. It just doesn't really do it for me. But I do like Imola a lot, even with all the chicanes. I mean, normally chicanes get pretty boring. I mean, you think of like for F1 schedule Singapore, where it's just chicane after chicane after chicane, and drivers say they can barely memorize the track because it's just all the turns look the same. Imola seems like it still has pretty good character, and it's definitely one of my favorite tracks to lap like in Assetto Corsa. So excited to see it come to iRacing. And then also announced this past week in iRacing is the new official VLN Series. So honestly, I had to do a little bit of research on this myself, since being here in the US, VLN is not common at all. But essentially, it's a series that runs at the Nordschleife, running the combined circuit. They have a VLN layout, which is most of the GP circuit plus the Nordschleife. And video about that. And so they run endurance race there. I believe the VLN race is the 24-hour race that goes on over the summer. So you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But anyway, so iRacing is going to be running kind of a summer series where they're going to run one race a month. And then actually, let me get the schedule here. So it's going to be a 4-hour race around the VLN circuit. It's going to feature 5 cars across 3 classes. So it'll be a GT3 class that has the Z4, the Mercedes AMG, and the Audi R8. Then there'll be the Kia Optima will be in its own class, and then the global Mazda MX-5 will be in its own class. So it's kind of going to be a precursor to the race in June, the 24-hour event. But 4-hour race, you can run it solo or with a team up to 4 guys. The first race is actually this Sunday, May 15th, 14 GMT. So if you're planning on running the series, you got to get in on it quick. But it's going to be the race will be this weekend for May, and then there'll be a race in June, July, August, 2 in September, and 2 in October. 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end of the month. So I think it's going to be 2 drop weeks and a field size of 60 cars, and no resets, repairs on, 15-minute warm-ups, just all kind of stuff I grabbed from the forums. But yeah, so that's it's pretty cool. I kind of like this idea that you go and you continue to run the same car and track combo for a season, or in this case, an abbreviated season, because it really lets you just hone in on the driving. Hopefully, you get to a pretty good setup fairly quickly, get the team dynamic down, and then you pretty much get a whole bunch of mulligans. You know, if you mess up, I mean, it's going to hurt you for the championship, but you get to go out there the following month and try it again. So I like this concept. Man, if I had more time in my life, I'd be maybe get me and Darren to go and go run this series, because this would be a cool thing. And with 4 hours long, it sets up really well for just having 2 people per team. So yeah, pretty cool. I love the official not sponsorships, but organized series with real world and sim racing. We talked about it last week with Sector 3 had an official WTCC series that's going to kick off and run over the summer. And we know iRacing has a bunch of official series, and it's cool to see another one and all these combos happening. I think it just helps everyone in the long run. So, next news item, as man, my throat. It's hard to do this much talking. Darren, come back. And speaking of RaceRoom, next story is a preview of the new car, I guess the latest car, that's going to be coming to RaceRoom very soon, the Tatuus Formula 4 or F4. And this isn't the first open wheel car to show up in RaceRoom, as they started adding some last fall, but this is the first officially licensed car. So the previous cars were kind of knockoff of real-world cars, a GP2 car and the junior car. But that 4 is a real-world car, and it's coming to RaceRoom. It's actually we don't have these cars here in the U.S. They're not in our feeder systems. We have the Star Mazda and F2000. But did some research on F4 back when they announced this, and very popular in Europe. Also very popular in South America, it looks like, I believe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's running a lot of series, so it's cool to see it now come to RaceRoom, and it looks like it should be a lot of fun. I think it's a pretty good looking little car, and definitely looking forward to trying it out. But it was funny when that teaser came out yesterday. I was like, oh, gotta put on the live show. I feel like every week we have a new news item from either RaceRoom or iRacing. The PR team's doing good work over there, getting news out every single week. Let's see. Besides my phone ringing from a call from Fresno, California, let's see. rFactor 2. So they kind of had a cool little thing that came out the other day. They are starting a dev blog, and we've heard dev blogs in the past, and normally they're kind of like 30,000 foot level, like this is what we're going to be working on, or this is what we have worked on. But the rFactor 2 dev blog is actually super in-depth, and let me go ahead and pull it up here. And not only did they kick off this in-depth blog about modeling and physics, they also announced a new car. And here it is. It is the 1975 Babham. Ugh, I'm sorry about that butchering. BT44B. And this was a Formula 1 car. Don't let the front end fool you. It's back when F1 was kind of like trying to stick fenders before the regulations kind of knocked that out. But yeah, so besides just announcing the new car, I definitely suggest that you check out this blog if you're serious in the modding side of rFactor 2 or any other title, or just really curious how this stuff works, because it's by Michael Borda, which, by the way, it's nice to see a name from the ISI crew. Don't see too many names too often, but it is very, very detailed. Him talking about tire choices and really, that was the main topic, actually. Just talking about tire compound and also how to do some updating from if you did some modding on rFactor 1, how to easily translate that over to rFactor 2. So very detailed stuff. I hope that they and Michael in particular really stay on top of that, because if they go that detailed onto this first week, they could be putting out a couple of those things a week as development of the car goes. And so that's pretty cool and interesting car. I'm kind of interested to see feedback in chat. Even though, honestly, I'm not really looking at chat right now. I assume Darren's holding down the fort, but I'm just trying to pound through these things. But I'm interested to see if you guys are interested in that car, because for as cool, I have such mixed feelings about this. For as cool as those old F1 cars, even any of those classic cars are, they just don't quite seem to have the popularity of getting something new or something that you can watch on the weekend and then race in an officially sanctioned thing like we're talking about with RaceRoom and iRacing. So kind of curious if seeing that 1975 Babham, man, struggling with that name. If that gets your juices flowing, you really want to go and drive that car. So let's see. Okay, looks like chat. You guys are doing your chat thing. I love touching back in the chat, and it's like, okay, you guys talking about what I'm talking about? Nope, off in your own conversation. But that's cool. I see Darren can't wait for that car. I can see. I see that. I know. I figured Darren would want to drive that car. That car would be pretty cool on the Stage 4 with all. I'm sure it has lots and lots of motion. Okay. Lastly, on the news front, as I am getting through this in record time, is the story that I'm most excited about, the announcement of the Nvidia GeForce GTX 1080 and 1070 graphics cards. Finally, let's roll a little promo. Oh, that's not what I want to roll. Let's roll this guy. A little promo video, because why not? And yeah, it's going to have a lot of specs listed in it, but there's pretty much two takeaways from the new card set, the new chipset, I should say, from Nvidia, and it's that it is way more powerful than the current cards, which are already pretty impressive. And it has this new technology, which, let me make sure I get this right, a simultaneous multi-projection, which I think is going to be a big game changer for a lot of you guys out there on triple screens and VR. So that's the end of that video. That's cute. Here's the performance chart that I think, says it all. And there, obviously, you can see the current cards, the Maxwell family. I have the GTX 970, which looks pretty awful on this chart. But you have the Titan X out there with the most performance, and then the 1080 just kills it. And not only does the 1080 kill it, but the 1070, which I'll get to pricing in a second, is allegedly faster, better, whatever. I don't know what word you want to apply there. Better than the Titan X. So that is pretty wild. But okay, so performance, it's going to be awesome. 1080. Let me go and get some of the prices here. The 1080 is going to be available May 27th, so that's like 2 weeks. And it's going to be available for $600, $700 for the Founders Edition, which is kind of like a goofy. I don't really fully get it. It's like Nvidia's. It sounds like Nvidia's going to like compete against all the different OEMs out there, and they're going to offer this Founders Edition during the whole course of the life of the card, and has a fancier cooler and it's overclocked. But anyway, so the 1080 card, $600, available May 27th, 8 gigs of RAM, and a whole bunch of other specs that just sound insane. And then the 1070, which again is more powerful than the Titan X, the current fastest card out there, is going to be available June 10th for $380. And it's like, wow, that's a steal. I mean, the 1080, the graph, more is better. I love it. But to go and save $220 and still have the performance better than a Titan X, I mean, that's pretty killer. So I predict both of those will be very, very popular. And as I see a little bit of the chat going on, it looks like you guys are pretty excited about it too. But the other thing I want to get to, that simultaneous multi-projection, and I should have grabbed a video for it because there was a video from the conference, but essentially what it's going to do is that's going to bring triple screen, settings or compatibility. It's going to bring triple screen compatibility to every title out there. So currently, let's focus on sim racing. So in sim racing, you have a handful of titles that are triple screen compatible, in that when you run a triple screen setup, the side screens aren't being stretched. Everything's the right size. It's because you put the angle in, you put the screen size, and it does all the calculations. So everything looks proper. You have iRacing, you have Assetto Corsa, rFactor 2, American Truck Simulator, and I think that might be the list, and you guys have to let me know if I missed anything. So that means you got titles like Project Cars and the ISI titles, and you have Codemaster titles, RaceRoom. That when you run them in triple screens, and I know a lot of guys have triple screens, so you know this pain. It stretches everything, and it just doesn't look great, and it's kind of frustrating because you spend all this money on this setup for it to look good. So the simultaneous multi-projection fixes that. It pretty much brings triple screen compatibility to any title ran through this card, which that's insane. I mean that's amazing. I commented on the blog that Aussie Stig did on the site that there should be, all those developers should be sending Christmas cards off to Nvidia for doing that for them, because they just saved a lot of work. Because it always sounds like a lot of work. I mean, we even straight up asked, I know when we had a JF from Sector 3 here for an interview, one of the questions was triple screen support, and he said it's just not on the radar right now. It's a lot of work, have to rework things, and just wasn't an option. So now you get a card, and it automatically fixes that for you. So that's pretty awesome. And also, I should mention that the simultaneous multi-projection is also supposed to help ultra-wide gaming. So this is really directed towards me. That's why I'm really excited with the 35-inch ultra-wide BenQs. And then it's also supposed to be better for VR too, because I guess there's some distortion side to side that's supposed to alleviate that. So really cool. I mean, those features, the performance is awesome, but that whole simultaneous multi-projection is going to be really sweet. I'm excited to, well, I'm saying this like I'm getting a card, but I'll get to that in a second. But I'm excited to see what this can do for titles like a RaceRoom and stuff that I really wanted to race in proper triple screen support. But this does give me one thing that I do kind of wonder, and my question is, so for titles that are already triple screen compatible, so let's say iRacing, when you go from single monitor to rendering 3 screens, you get a big performance hit, because it's 3 times the pixels, not the pixels, but 3 times the work essentially. So I'm curious, if you were to set maybe iRacing in single screen mode and then run this multi-projection, will you get better frame rates than if you render 3 screens separately? So that's what I'm kind of curious about. It's like, I would like to think in theory that this multi-projection, you shouldn't see a performance hit because it's still the same number of pixels. You're just actually getting your view set up right. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes. That'd be really cool. It'd be really cool if you could kind of scrape back some performance in titles like that, where currently in game they have to render 3 screens separately. So last thing, as I ramble on about these cards. And I saw some people making comments about, you guys gotta go get one. So I reached out to my contact at EVGA, actually both contacts, and found out the contacts I last worked with had actually left the company. So I'm glad I contacted both guys. I was wondering why I wasn't getting my emails returned. And I reached out to them and asked for a review unit of the 1080 or 1070. I honestly don't care at this point. To put on the show, put on the bat, show off the simultaneous multi-projection technology, and they didn't say no. They said right now they don't know their schedule in terms of what cards they're going to have to send out for review, but essentially like they're going to get back to me, and it sounds like they're willing to cooperate. So I'm hoping and praying that we will have one of those cards here in the studio in the near future to go and put on the bat and really see, what it's made out of, and hopefully things go really well. They'll let me keep it, and it won't just be an early review unit that they send out to everyone, and then they say, okay, when you're done with it, send it back. So yeah, we'll see, but that's really cool technology, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm even looking forward to the cards after the 1080 and 1070, because it's like, what's the 1060 going to be like? Is that going to have like 980 performance and cost $200, $250? This could really see sim racing and gaming in general become a lot more affordable and approachable. So very cool stuff. So I think that wraps it up with the news section, and I'm gonna sneak a drink of water here because my voice is dying. And let's see. So let's get on to happenings. And first up, all our studio stuff showed up. Let me go and pull this picture up. But yeah, I finally got my U-Haul box last week, and I still got to work with them on getting money back. But the box came in with all the stuff. This was me putting all the stuff in the house last weekend. I had to tear a bunch of our boxes and put everything in, carry it in individually. So that's the stuff in the room. And then here's a picture that I took right before the show. So a lot of work has gone into organizing everything. Got the next level set up there on the left with the Thrustmaster TMX, which will be, like I said earlier, that review will be coming. There's the bat in the middle. Like I said, the wings clipped. Haven't put the side monitors on yet since that takes a little bit of effort, but that's coming along. And then in the very back corner there by the door is the track racer. So got those rigs set up, and you can kind of see I got the studio lights now, so I don't have to hear the buzzing of my overhead lights, and you kind of see my actually this is my girlfriend's PC and setup, but I don't know, I kind of like the setup. This might become the permanent one for the live show. Oh, and then I have a couple closets and got some shelving and got all the goodies in there. So I am slowly getting this all together so we can start pumping some content out to you guys, making some videos, and I can stop slacking, even though I feel like I haven't slept in a month. So yeah, yes, I pretty much did empty out Darren's studio. It was Darren posted a video, not a video, a picture up on Facebook when I left, and it is kind of like, wow, I did take a lot of stuff. There's not too much left in the Washington studio. So, yep, getting that all set up, and videos to come, including, and I should have grabbed the preview of this, but again, my apologies. The Sam Maxwell video, we talked about it a little bit last week, and that's going to be coming out tomorrow. That's pretty much done, and really cool piece. I mean, we said it last week, but Sam's just a really cool guy. Just really like him, and has some really awesome wheels. Can't use awesome enough. As you'll see in the video, I use awesome like 20 times. So, but no, really great wheels. They're definitely a little on the high end, but they're pretty sweet. And Sam's a great guy. So that interview will be coming out tomorrow, and then yeah, hopefully we'll get some other the iRace for Life and some of the other back order stuff up and running here pretty soon. Oh man, I gotta stop mentioning girlfriend. I get the when you pop in the question type type questions. So let's see. A reminder: the poll question for this week: do software delays bother you? You can vote up in the upper right-hand corner, and just trying to gauge if the Assetto Corsa was delayed this week. Project Cars had a fair delay last year. Assetto Corsa has some delays. iRacing has delays all the time on new content. So want to get your feeling if you're really frustrated and wish they would stop setting these release dates and then missing them, or if you're just like, okay, I'd rather have it right, or if you're just kind of like, software. That's kind of where I'm at. That's why I left that third choice. These days, like I said, it seems like every deadline is missed for like everything. When something comes out on time, I'm almost shocked. So I've kind of become very, I don't know, disenchanted with it. I'm just kind of like, whatever. Whenever it gets done, I'll be ready for it. But yeah, but that's my views. Kind of curious to see what you guys think. And and also, Darren mentioned there in chat, we do appreciate a thumbs up. Reminder now. Normally we get a little more people coming in this time of day. Oh, by the way, I hope you like the layout of the screen here. I kind of got the black thing going and got chat blowing up a little larger. So let me know if chat looks good and you're able to read that and all that good stuff. Cleanup from last week. Last week's poll question. We asked, do you race online or what do you prefer? Racing online or offline? We know a lot of people do both, but it was kind of black or white. Online, what would if you could pick one? Which one would you do? And the results: 64% of you said you'd rather race online, 35% offline, 1% of you were confused. So that kind of it's interesting because when we first did it last week, I think it was like quite a few. It might have been like 3/4 said online. And oh, good thing I'm seeing your comments from the layout. Awesome. But yeah, so a lot of you guys said online versus off, and me and Darren were kind of like, well, that makes sense. I mean, this is if you're watching this show, you're a fairly hardcore sim racer. But as the week went on, we got more votes came in. Ended up only 64% online and 35% off. So that's a fair amount of you that are offline. So that's pretty interesting. I from there, I'd almost want to know what you're racing. If you're racing offline a lot, are you racing more of the Assetto Corsa project cars, RaceRoom, kind of what are you? I guess pretty much I just named all of them that wasn't iRacing since you can't race that offline. But anyway, I'd be kind of curious what you're driving because I said before I got on the iRacing, I only raced offline for years and years. rFactor 2 and GTR 2 and NASCAR Racing 2003. It was all offline only, and I couldn't be happier. I really liked it. So then I found online racing. I was like, oh wow, this is a whole nother level. I'm like seriously getting sweaty waiting for this race to start. Why am I so nervous? So now I definitely like my online racing. So I think that does it with all the news items and happenings and poll questions. So let's go ahead and get on to some Q&A and fire your questions away. And I'm going to try my best to grab them, which is always no promises. And Darren, if you could help me out and let me know if there's any previous questions, maybe you can retype them in chat. And I can go and grab that. Oh, okay. I'm seeing some of the conversation now about the chat window. Let's see. There was a question. Oh, okay. I'm gonna field this question from Twitter that I already answered, but I think it's good if you have a art chassis and are wondering this, because we didn't fully have this figured out when we did our review of the art last fall, but I can't remember the name now. But the question was, how do you secure the pedal plate? So the pedal plate was really our least favorite thing about the art. Overall, I really liked that chassis. And what we did was because we were up on casters, we jammed it in between the frame. But I guess you're supposed to use the Velcro straps that it came with. But as I don't think those are going to hold very well, so if you have the art chassis, I would go and get zip ties. Go get plastic zip ties and really go and crank that down, and then use the hole in the pedal plates and the frame to try to secure that. And also Billy is here in chat, and he has one, so maybe he can help give some insight. Let me see if I open Skype up and pull it off that window so you guys can't read our conversation, which I think we were using good language, so that's good. Okay, so Grandmaster J5, John Darren, have you ever thought about doing short racing tutorials? I've never driven a car. I have a G29 and no idea what to do with the clutch pedals for race starts. No other videos on YouTube. So okay, so that's actually a decent. I like that question a lot because yeah, I mean, say if you're younger. Or just getting into it, and what I particularly like is the start question, like starting off a race, because I'll be honest, I'm not the best at like standing starts. Like standing starts, I'm not the greatest, but we could probably give some pointers to that, and we also give some pointers on rolling starts. I know Wim has talked about wanting us to do kind of like an oval racing lesson on the show, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do, which we should do that because one of those things is like a rolling start. You can't win it in the first turn. I mean, that's true about any series, but it's like really true about stock car racing. I know I've been taken out in first corner incidents, and it's like, why? We can pass. It's okay. So So no, that's a good suggestion, and we'll definitely put that on the list. I'll have to write this down now, or I will forget it. If I do forget it, in another month or so, come back and hit me up, because we definitely get a backlog. Steven Russell, let's see. Okay, he said, okay, I guess I'm out of the loop. But John, what made you decide to move from Washington? So I am I'm from a lot of places, but I'm from Ohio. Before I was in Washington, I was here in Dayton, Ohio. My parents are here. I went to high school here, and yeah, I was here in Ohio. And then when I was blogging from here and working for Inside Sim Racing, and then me and Darren got talking last summer about co-hosting, and really had to go out there and just go do it. So I drove out to Washington. Trying to think what the mileage was. It's a long way. It was a 36-hour drive. Washington's way out there. So yeah, so drove out to Darren's place, and then I was working on the show from there for 8 months, staying at Darren's place and doing the show and learning how to do all the editing and all. I'd never done any of this stuff before. But then it turned, and it did look like for a little while I was probably going to stay in Washington. I was trying to stay in Washington, but I have a girlfriend here. She has a 5-year-old. There's custody stuff, and it just kind of made it, really the only option ended up being here, or me being single, and I didn't want to be single. So that's what brought me back to Ohio. So blame the girl, because Lord knows I never thought I'd be living in a house that's like a 5-minute walk from my high school. I thought this would be the last place in the world I would live. So back in Ohio, whether I like it or not, there's good and bad things. So that's why I'm here, and now we're doing the dual thing every week. Let's see, another question. Julian Kuwabagwag. I'm sorry, that is quite the last name. If you could race in any series, what series would it be? Boy, I've been watching a lot of V8 supercars. I don't know, V8 supercars, Indy cars. I love both those series. But I've been watching a lot of V8 supercars, and the racing this year is spectacular. Like it's been my favorite series. It's been great. Also, I watched a WEC race from Spa yesterday or the other day while I was doing all this work here in the studio, and that series also that was an awesome race. But yeah, I like V8 supercars a lot, and I also like Indy cars. I was hoping to go over to the Speedway tomorrow, because I'm only 2 hours away from Indianapolis, and go check out IndyCar practice. But I am so far behind on life between work and moving into the house and mowing the lawn, so I'm not going to get a chance to go over there. But I'll get over sometime this month to go check out those cars. Okay. Here's a follow-up from the GT Omega question that about tying down the pedal plate. This is from Billy. He said, mine did not come with Velcro straps. I had to use zip tie and wedge blocks under the front and the back. So it's kind of odd it didn't come with Velcro. I know we got a couple Velcro straps with it, but yeah, it is kind of frustrating. I mean, I like GT Omega's. I like their product a lot. Like I said, I like their seat. Actually, I didn't show you. Let me turn this way. I like their seat so much that I went and I put it. It's on the bat, and I was like, we have our chassis. Might as well go and I'm not planning on building it, so put the seat over on the bat and see, how it goes. Because I love the seats, and overall I like the frame. But yeah, that pedal deck on the art is frustrating. You got to get kind of creative to get that secured. Let's see. So Nigel Benton asks, have you tried the GT Omega RS9 seat, and how does it compare against the RS6? The R chassis is 30 pounds more expensive in the UK, but I can't find any reviews. It's interesting that you brought this up, because I was just thinking yesterday while I was putting the RS6 seat onto the bat that I would really like to try out that RS9. So I haven't tried it. We haven't had it. But I'm going to hit up our GT Omega contact and see if maybe we can just, at the very least, send us an RS9 seat, because we got everything else. So I don't know if we need another chassis, but if they want to, why not? But I'm gonna try to see if we can get an RS9 seat because I want to review it. I want to see if it's better, and hell, if it's really good, maybe I'll just toss it on the bat. just don't tell them. But no, I do want to try that out. So yeah, that's a good question. I was just, like I said, just thinking about that. I don't know if the RS9 is available in the U.S., but I know it is over there in some places in Europe. I know the UK has it, but yeah, I definitely want to try to review that. Let's see. John Cheel, you are a natural, John. Great presenting. Thank you. I appreciate it. And Darren, thanks for tossing that in there. Yes, I am playing Step Dead now, so it's fun. I do like her a lot. Let's see. DW Jones, are there any add-ons for the 920 in the G920 in the future? I doubt it. It's unlike the Thrustmaster where you can change out the rims, so you got almost endless options with that. The Logitech you cannot, and I mean, like when the G27 came out, it came out with the wheel, pedal, shifters, and we didn't see anything new come from that over the years. That was it. That's all you got. And so I expect it's going to be the same with the G29 and G920. That you get the wheel, you get the pedals, and then you can buy the shifter separately, but that's it. So yeah, I don't see that changing. Let's see. Oh, that was good. Epistemophilic. Yeah, we'll go with that. How did you watch the WEC race? There's a website that someone showed me on here, and if you do some kind of combination, if you Google burning and wheels, you'll come across it, and it's a Blogspot site. So I'll say that much, and I don't want to say more because it's my favorite site right now on the internet because I've been watching all my racing on it because I cut the cord. I don't have cable, and I don't have cable. I don't have time. So being able to go and watch races like the following day or even during the following week or a week later or whatever has been fantastic. So yep. Let's see. Andreas Nee Frolic, definitely German sounding. Will you guys attend E3 this year? So I will be at E3, which reminds me I have to sign up. I haven't done that yet, Darren. Yes, I will be at E3 for sure. And Darren, I think we're still I don't know if he commented on here, but I think still debating, but I know for a fact I'll be there. So we will have E3 coverage, and hopefully there's lots of coverage. I don't know. You know, last year Darren made out mad. He got some really great stuff. I assume there'll be another Codemasters F1 title, and we'll see. You know, it should be the first chance I can try out Assetto Corsa on the console, since we haven't. All their press events so far have been over in Europe, and but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's there. But I'm looking forward to it. That's coming up soon. Gotta book a flight. Oh. That's, of course, okay. I thought the name was familiar. It's Andreas. Okay, hey Andreas. God, I was like, why does this look familiar? Andreas Nee. Okay, that's right. He got married, so he got the hyphenated name now. Let's see. Krampus. Do you think it's worth waiting for the CSL instead of getting the T300 now? I think it would. I think it would still have worse price performance in comparison to the Thrustmaster wheel, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean the T300 is a really good wheel. It's my personal one. I am debating tossing the Fanatic Club Sport back on my rig to try it out because I haven't driven in a while. Even though, with that said, I want to run the iRacing Indy 500 next weekend, and I want to run a Formula-style rim, and for the Fanatic, I only have the large 330mm Forza leather rim, so that's too big to run with F1 cars. So I'm probably going to put the T300 on the bat and put the F1 Ferrari rim on to run that race. But yeah, I don't know if it's worth waiting for the CSL. I don't know. We only got the rim, and the rim is, it's okay. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's definitely it's made for a price point to be more of a not entry level, but mid level consumer grade. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know how long you'll be waiting for. I'm really surprised we haven't heard anything about the CSL wheelbase, because we got that rim back. We got it back in November, because we got it right before Black Friday. It was part of a Black Friday sale. If you bought the Club Sport V2 base plus the CSL rim, you got it for like $700 or something. That was a fair amount off. So yeah, I think you're okay to just pull the trigger on the T300. Super solid wheel, and like I said, we just don't know what the CSL is going to be at this point. Let's see. Play for Real 216. How much longer before iRace for Life footages? Hashtag soon. We definitely want to get the Thrustmaster TMX review out, because that wheel is I think Darren said it was coming out on the 20th, even though I thought I saw something that might be already be out. So I'm kind of, I don't know if maybe it's it's out somewhere or in the UK. It's not out here in the US. I looked on Amazon, you can't order it, so I know it's at least not out here in the US yet. So yeah, I want to get that out, and then we'll probably jump back over on iRace for Life. The tough thing is that is so much editing that I gotta get myself motivated for it. I gotta get myself excited to jump on the computer and go stare at the screen for like 8 hours. So there's a bit to that, but hopefully sometime over next month there should be more iRace for Life footage. Let's see. Oh yeah. Darren mentioned here on our Skype conversation, hoping for a GT Sport debut at E3. Yeah, that would be awesome. The latest rumors I heard, which there is a new rumor every week for GT Sport, is it's going to be released this October alongside the PlayStation VR headset. But I don't know. I mean, we haven't heard anything. And I get concerned when you don't hear any news for a long time. I was kind of getting a little concerned about Assetto Corsa on the console, because we really hadn't heard anything for, I don't know, 2-3 months, and then it comes out as delayed. So when you're approaching an alleged launch and you're not hearing stuff, I think that's a bit you got to kind of pause for worry. And also the GT series, they always get pushed to like a December release. So yeah, I'm a little worried about that. I saw some people going on about shifter carts here, and I don't know if maybe that was the conversation, but anyway, Cartcraft. I just saw something just like a few minutes ago on Wim posted on BSim that they're passed through like not green light, but they're ready to go on Steam, and it sounds like that's going to be coming. I think it was May 30th, I believe was the date. It's going to be showing up on Steam, so that's really cool to see. So that's another title where it's kind of like they said it was going to be out in the first quarter of this year, I believe, and we've kind of slid a little past the first quarter here. So yeah, but I'm glad that it sounds like it's coming soon. Let's see, Joe Atkins, do you play many rally games? I've been playing a lot of rally games the past handful of months with between Sebastian Loeb and Dirt Rally. Dirt Rally, that's another thing we want to do a review on. We need to get a review out for Dirt Rally. It's a little late now, but at least we're have it up on the website. And if you haven't, well, I don't want to get too far, but the website we've been doing some update on, and a lot. Even though if this review is really dated, or not dated, but it's late, I think it'll be really useful for the website and some of the stuff we got going on there. So yeah, need to get a review out for that. But yeah, I was playing a lot of Dirt Rally before I left Washington, and I was doing a lot of Sebastian Loeb back in January and February, and I'm getting better. I'm definitely better on pavement than I am on the dirt. I got to get my e-brake timing down a little better, but no, I do okay, and I do like to drive rally games, and it is nice. It is something where you don't have to worry about talking about offline versus online. I know Dirt Rally you can do both titles, but more Dirt Rally. You can do online competitions with times and stuff like that, but dirt with a rally game, you can really just fire it up and go race offline and go race the clock, and it's pretty easy to jump in and out of. So I do, for offline racing, I do like jumping in onto some rally. Let's see. Yep, I have the Sam Maxwell interview coming soon. Mentioned that. 2 broken leg 13. How would you compare the Thrustmaster TX wheel to the T300? They're the same. I mean, they're the same wheel. The TX has, I believe I got this right. I don't got this backwards, but the TX has 1080 degrees of rotation. The T300 is 900. I don't think any wheel needs to go over 900 personally. 900 degrees rotation, you're golden. Off you go. I never used the 1080 on the TX, but yeah, they're the same. They're the same wheel. So I mean, kind of with that said, I mean, I do say I do kind of. If I was just buying them for the PC and I wasn't planning on racing on the console, I would buy the T300 over the TX. The T300 comes with a nicer rim, and I don't know. I just kind of find myself overall leaning a little more towards the T300, even though they are allegedly the same, and overall like 95% subjectively they feel the same. But if you had to said you're going PC racing only, which one to buy, I get the T300. Let's see. Tom Jones question. Is it really just John and Darren making videos? Nobody helping out with editing? It is really just us. Yeah, it is. We did have an editor, and Darren, if you commented on that earlier maybe, but we at times things have been sent out to editors, but pretty much since I've been on, we've only sent out like 1 or 2 videos for someone else to edit. So it is up to us. Having some editors would be nice. Could really pump out some stuff, but they're pricey. So most of the workload falls on us, which that's fine. I mean, the editing process, it's I know I said, I gotta get myself up for some edits, but it's not like it's all bad. I mean, there's definitely a creativity enjoyment to doing an edit. There's just some where you just have so much footage to go through, or so many different points you got to hit, that it just takes a while. So yeah, the editing process. Some days it's like it's the best thing ever, and other days you're like, I don't feel like doing this. So it's like writing. Some days are better than you're more excited to do it than others. And then also to that point Darren mentioned here, we do have Billy, and soon Mark will be doing videos. And actually, yeah, and a big shout out to Billy. Like I said, he did a great job on that first look with the Forza Apex, and he's been putting out a lot of videos. I mean, a lot of videos, especially over the last month, where with the move and everything, I haven't put out like anything, and Darren's had a couple. So definitely right now, Billy's picking up the slack, and he edits all his stuff too. So yeah, big shout out to Billy for keeping new content on the channel, which is important. Let's see. And Billy mentioned here in chat, editing is the longest part. I saw Liam Kingsworth. Will you be playing F1 2016 when it comes out? I will be, or we will be. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I hope that everything's lining up for F1 2016 to be a solid SimCade title. F1 2015 has some. I like how it drives. I mean, overall, for what it is. I mean, is it a sim? No, but it for SimCade, classification, it drives really well with physics. I mean, it has strong force feedback, and I think there's a lot to like. It just showed up with a bunch of bugs. So I'm hoping F1 2016 irons out the bugs. It brings back things that F1 2015 lacked, like having a safety car. I mean, that's kind of important. So, and then also, I know, and the Codemasters kind of talked about this. They've kind of put this push where they got community members coming in, and they've been testing the game. They're trying to get them more involved. I think it's a trickle down effect from Dirt Rally. Dirt Rally was such a success in terms of working with the community and giving what people want and really, listening to the community, that I think some of that effect is getting over to the F1 team, and we'll see that in 2016. So I have high hopes for 2016. I'm not going to say I have high expectations, but I have high hopes that F1 2016 will be a solid title, and will be something that will get people back, back into the series. This is me killing dead time. Here we go. New question, Darren grabbed for me. Phenom asked, is the TM599XX rim worth its price? Really thinking about getting it for my T300. Yes, it is. It is. I mean, the answer is yes. The 599 Alcantara rim that Thrustmaster has is probably one of my favorite rims out there. Just in general, I prefer the Alcantara on it over like the Momo rims I felt. And they say it comes from the same place that Ferrari gets their Alcantara, and it feels great. So I think it's about 150, 180 US dollars, that rim, but I think it's worth it, and it's held up really well. I almost want to do a show just talking about things that we almost like a follow-up of things that we reviewed over the past couple years, and then coming back and visiting what are we still personally using. So we're personally using it. That means it's we like it a lot. And that 599 rim, I mean, I love it. It's held up so well, and it's also, like I said, it's also partially kept the T300 on my system because it's my favorite rim. It's my favorite rim to use. Alan, John, I thought you fixed your glasses. I bought new glasses. Actually, I got them so tight last week, my ears were turning black and blue. So they're slightly loosened, and I think they're a little better this week. Once in a while, I know. I don't do well with things with my face. I need to go buy contacts. And then I need to get LASIK surgery. So my mom just got LASIK last week, and I'm so jealous. be so nice to see. Just seeing some questions here. DMP1F, does anyone know if the new Need for Speed is any good? I do not know because I don't plan on driving it. Let's see, Drake Productions, will you guys be doing the R-Seat N1 review? They were supposed to send us one. Haven't heard anything in a while. Need to circle back to them and someone else. It's on the to-do list, but we'd like to get in here. Looks like a cool rig. Let's see. Okay, Phenom following up. Yeah, the rim can get for about 140 euros here. So, yeah, it is a real good rim. Oh, and then Billy's saying that Need for Speed is all right. So, Billy's on top of all these games. He's on top of all this stuff. I gotta go and get. Now that I got I got the bat back up. The other night, I hooked it up to the internet and I downloaded stuff forever. It's like when you haven't turned on a computer in a month, it's amazing how many updates you got. Much less Steam, just general Windows updates and graphics drivers and stuff like that. But I need to get on and try out that Windows URP, whatever. Like I said, whatever that acronym is, and download Forza. I don't have an Xbox One controller to try it out now, but I kind of want to just get it on the system. Let's see. Oh, here's a good shots fired question. Aquil Azar Jed. We'll go with Aquil. I'm sorry. Who's faster between you two? Separate answers for oval and circuit racing. Good luck saying the first part of my name. All of it's very difficult for me. Me and Darren are both very similar in speed. I think some cars I'm a little faster, some cars Darren's a little faster. I know for a fact the Daytona prototype that we raced in the 24-hour race on iRacing, Darren was definitely faster than me. I finally at the end started to kind of claw back. But he's faster than me in that. Yeah, I mean, IndyCar, I know we're pretty equally matched. I know there's a couple cars that I do. I think I go a little faster in the GT3 cars. I I like all those brake assist apparently. So, but no, we're very evenly matched on the road. The oval, I imagine the same thing. I assume like the IndyCar, like at Indianapolis, were pretty similar. And I will say I'm terrible in stock cars these days. I got to do a little bit of iRace for life, but I mostly got wrecked. But I think I finished one race and I did okay. I think I finished like 7th, but I'm definitely my oval racing isn't nearly as good as it used to be. I used to be really good at oval racing, and you just don't practice something, you kind of lose it. So, but no, we're me and Darren are both very equally matched. I'm not sure how we compare against Billy and Mark though. I might have to settle that one day. Let's see. Quentin Vermilion. John, recently saw you shifting the TH8A with the Ricmotech kit. How can you smash that shifter so hard and not break it? While I broke my knob within a month. I don't know. I mean, the Ricmotech. I know that's a pretty strong little piece they have. And like I said, with my shifting, I'm just doing quality control for you guys. I'm just trying to show you that it's gonna that it's gonna last. So I'm just trying my best. I'm sorry it failed for you. I'm wondering if you're talking about the knob or that. Cause Ricmotech, that was the short shifter adapter, which I believe is just a machined plastic piece, but it's like ABS, pretty durable stuff. But no, I haven't had any issues with it myself. Let's see. Catching a question here. Grandmaster J5, will you guys be trying out the next MotoGP game? Has a lot of content. Unfortunately, when I asked, Milestone said the rally/car selections won't support wheels. Shame about that bit. That is a shame. I believe that's the Valentino Rossi labeled game is the next GP title. Yeah, we'll probably try. I mean, there's probably a fair chance. I haven't driven any of the bike games. I have not given them a try. I know Darren enjoys them a lot, so maybe he'll take that one. But I'm sure when it's released, we'll give it a go. I know on the bike side, Billy's been driving MXGP2 and has a couple test drives out, including one that we put out last week. Which I have to say, just watching those videos, I'm fairly impressed with what I'm seeing. I agree with him. I really like the field of view they use, and it has a cool. I don't know. I think it just kind of looks cool where the field of view is at on the bike and how it moves over the jumps, and it seems to do pretty well with like picking up. Here's a rut. The whole off track thing is course cutting thing is kind of goofy. Reset thing is weird, but no, actually, I was kind of impressed by that. I don't know if you guys are impressed based off the number of views we got of that game. We're not exactly killing it on views when we do MXGP coverage, but no, it looks like it's overall a pretty solid title. Let's see. I like that. John the Hammer, Darren the Grandmaster, baby. What is Billy then? The surgeon? I like that. Let's see. John the Hammer. That's so funny. I didn't see Travis in here. It is an interesting question from Wim posted. Does anyone on here own a human racing rig? That is one that is kind of like came, and I don't know what's happened to those guys. I have not heard human racing in a long time. Let's see. Drake Productions. Do you prefer the TH8A or Fanatic Club Sport shifter? I have not tried out the Fanatic Club Sport shifter. This would be one when Darren would have to field, and I think he just had to run away for a phone call. But yeah, I haven't tried it myself. The TH8A is a solid shifter, but I can't do a direct comparison without trying out the Fanatic myself. Should almost try to get one. I would like to see what that one's like. Let's see. Looking for more questions, and we'll do a few more questions, and then I'll probably wrap it up here because this is hard going solo on The Voice, and also I gotta go mow because the sun's actually out here in Ohio, and then I got doubleheader softball games tonight. Let's see. Big Belly Gamer, ISR should think about doing a DW12 IndyCar setup video for the iRacing Indy 500. Well, I'll be honest. At this point, I'm hoping we have the DeCarmo brothers back on like we had last year because they did the setup. I didn't touch it. I used to, when I raced IndyCar a lot, I did do a lot of setup adjustment myself and halfway know my way around the car. So I'll go and I'll play with it. But with the race, essentially a week and a half, but that comes up pretty quick when you're getting ready for a race like that away. I don't know how much setup work I'm gonna be doing myself, and I don't know if I am confident enough to put out a video on how to specifically set up that car, because that's one of the more challenging cars in sim racing to set up. The IndyCar Indianapolis. There's a lot of stuff going on, and even driving wise, that'd almost be a fascinating one to talk about, because when I raced in the race last year, I mean, the swings you have on the weight jacker during a fuel run is amazing. The way you have to drive the car in clean air versus dirty air and then adjust your weight jacker is tremendously different. It's a shame TV just doesn't do that race justice of how difficult that is. Like, they should almost have an image up of showing all the times the drivers are having hit things on their wheel. Like, maybe put a little wheel logo up in the corner of the screen and then like light it up every time they're touching it when you're on onboard or something, and just count how many adjustments they make during a course of a fuel stint or a course of a race, because it's a tremendous amount of work, but you just don't see it. And also, those cars, they don't step sideways, because if you step sideways more, if you do a wheel adjustment more than this, you're gone. You've lost the car. This isn't like NASCAR where you can kind of hang it out there and you can see the cooling cars where the guys are really sawing at the wheel, and you can see that it's really hard to drive. IndyCar, it's so much, because of the speed and everything, it's so much more nuanced, and you're just not seeing how difficult it is to run that race, much less the G's and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was a bit of a tangent there, but it'd be cool. That'd be kind of neat to touch on. So maybe one of these days. I don't think it's gonna happen this year. With everything else happening this month, it's a blur. Like I said, I barely have enough time to go over and go watch the cars myself. Let's see. This is me filling dead air for the podcast, which I'll probably cut out. Oh, by the way, if you're a podcast listener, I know I can talk and not look at the camera because you can't see me, but I appreciate you guys continuing to watch the podcast, and I definitely see the messages of you guys saying that you listen to going into work or at work and stuff like that. I appreciate that. Sim Racing Legends, what's your favorite manufacturer? Good question. I don't know if I have like one loyalty. Being a NASCAR and Jeff Gordon fan, I always like Chevys. Used to have a BMW, so like BMWs, but these days not too much loyalty. I like cool cars. I like manufacturers that support racing. So kind of where I'm at with that. Oh, that's right. I can't. I started scrolling through the comments, and I'm scrolling back on screen for the show, which maybe that's okay. But oh, here we go. Let's see. I'm gonna end on this question because we're getting kind of thin. So I figure this is probably a good jumping off point. Oh, I just lost it now. Quentin Vermillion asked, "Is the T300 any better than the T500 base?" I think it is. I think it is. The T500 is a little bit stronger in force feedback, but it's not as smooth. It's not as smooth, and I mean it's not quite a bit, but I mean you can definitely feel it a lot more. So I choose smoothness. So I prefer the T300 T500. Also, the T300 it's just a little. It's newer, it has smaller packaging. The T500 is a pretty bulky wheel. Even though neither of them are lightweights. But yeah, I just think if you're gonna go and buy a new wheel, the T300 is it's just a solid wheel. I think it's just a better way to go, and I think a little more force feedback would be nice, but I wouldn't sacrifice it for smoothness, and the T300 is certainly smoother. So yeah, hey, I like that. I like that, Tim. Darren is the reason why the show's longer. Let him talk once in a while, or ramble on or something. I thought I was the one who really rambled on, but no. So I think we'll leave it at there. We'll leave it there. Again, easy for me to say. Struggling. The struggle is real. So, thank you for watching this week Inside Sim Racing, May 11th, 2016 edition. I had to check what the date was. I appreciate for all you guys hanging around and chat again. As always, you guys are awesome. Makes it especially a lot easier on me when I'm flying solo. So, again, thanks for watching. We'll have more videos soon coming out of the ISR Ohio studio. And then, of course, we'll be back next week for another edition of the live show. So hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you later. Bye, guys.